Hi everybody, my name is Chelsea Trezada from the Bachelor of Medical Sciences. Today I have with me is Michelle. Michelle, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Chelsea. Yep. Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Power. I'm from the Department of Biological Sciences in the Faculty of Science and Engineering, and I'm the course director for the Bachelor of Medical Sciences.
Great. Okay, so let's start off. So what is the Bachelor of Medical Sciences?
The Bachelor of Medical Sciences is one of Macquarie's top degrees in undergraduate study. It provides a flexible study program that has options for students or sets students up for a lot of diverse career pathways. And that can be anything from postgraduate study to research to working in a laboratory.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's great. And also Bachelor of Medical Sciences, personally for me, is like as a current student in the degree, is if you're really interested in sciences and you want to work in the healthcare field in the future, I think this degree is perfect for you, right?
Yes, that's the whole idea. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about the majors. There are 7 majors in the degree. Yep. And so for me, I'm taking up the Bachelor of Medical Sciences major in Infectious Disease and Biosecurity, which is also a really great major for today, for right now, and COVID-19 and everything that's happening right now. And another major that's also good is Medicinal Chemistry, which is something that I'm planning on taking as well. So what other majors do we have in our course?
Yeah, actually, but before I get on to the other majors, I might just talk about your study program because you've got a really interesting one there. So you've mentioned that your primary major is infectious disease and biosecurity, but that you're also doing a second major. And so this degree does actually offer great flexibility. So students can do 1 major or 2 major or a major and a minor, or they can use part of the degree and do a double degree, or they can choose any subjects from across the university. So it really has some nice inbuilt flexibility, but provides that important foundation for different career paths on completion. So, and your degree, your major, infectious disease major, is very topical at the moment. Yes. And I must say, one of the exciting things about this degree is that Macquarie changed its degree structure. And from 2020, this is a whole new program. We've been offering the BMed Sci since 1996, I think. But this is just an exciting new program that draws on the majors that draw on contemporary issues, global health issues. And when we set this degree up, I never imagined, and infectious disease is my research area, I never imagined that we would be here today. I was thinking 15, 20 years, but here we are.
Fast forward.
Fast forward, So that I think this is going to be a very interesting area for students in medical and health sciences. But to the other majors. So we have 7. So we have Analytical Biosciences, which tends to lead to a career pathway in maybe pathology or areas such as the blood bank, so hospital scientist. We've got information, genomics and medical informatics. That's another key emerging area. So a lot of big data information coming out there, a lot of new technologies to understand processes of disease, not just focusing on the disease itself, but what else is happening in and across the body. And so that major would again, students may end up in career pathways of research or medical institutes. The anatomy, physiology and the neuroscience majors are really aligned to, I think students who want to go on to do a medical doctorate kind of take those. Research as well, but they also tend to go for those majors. We've got health communication, which is another really important one, because health communication and promotion is really the only way, and you're seeing this today, really the only way we can control and manage some of these global health issues, not just in infectious disease, but any kind of health issues.
It's very essential in all aspects.
And, I think one of the biggest things about this degree and students' career pathways is the stakeholders and the receivers are the community, are people. So we really need to communicate to everyone. Have I missed one? Medicinal chemistry. So that's all about understanding pharmacology, treatment, drug discovery. And there's also an interesting Indigenous component, Indigenous medicine. You might not have gotten to that yet. So that's no, I think that's in 3rd year. So looking at natural products and trying to discover.
That would be a nice for that. Thank you so much for that. So the next question is, what are the units that students actually take for this degree?
Okay, so in first year, students will do 6 subjects that everyone taking the degree do. Those subjects cover they really provide students with a foundation relative to the field or the discipline. and that includes human biology, chemistry, molecular biology, really introduction, overarching information, and foundations in medical science, which is really primed to get students thinking at the start of their degree where they want to go and to making choices about subjects. Not at the end when they get to the end and think, oh, I might want to do postgraduate study. Thinking about that first. Then there is the choice of a major, and we've already mentioned that the different majors that we have, and within the major it depends on which one you do. So with your major there's microbiology, parasitology, virology, health and disease, and you're just starting to get into some of those subjects now. And then the other subjects are again major dependent. So you know, anatomy and physiology. People in that major will study the human body, will get into the dissection labs, all those components. So quite diverse units, but then in that flexible zone where students can add a major or a minor or do completely different subjects outside of medical science, anything is on the cards.
A minor, a major, double major.
They could do astronomy in those 8 subjects. So,
that's great. And like, basically, the core units are the foundation units, yes, and then there's like the essential one rather, and the electives that fall into the personalized units. The personalized study plan, so everyone has to do the core units, so you basically, I think that the way the degree is set up as well with the core units is that and progressing to the major is students don't have to think about what prereq do I need to do this unit. It's just all built in. So the study plan for the core component and the major are provided on a silver platter, and then there's that flexibility to choose within the rest of the program. Which is great, because students oftentimes they like find that they're interested in some sort of aspects later into the study, which is great.
So exactly.
Good. Okay, so what is so special about this degree?
So the degree. So as I've mentioned, it's a whole new degree since 2020. We've run the BMed Sci since 1996, I think, 94 or 96. But the university changed its degree structure and architecture, and so we had an opportunity to really redesign this program so it matched global health issues. But I think what's really special is that not only are the areas contemporary issues and areas that offer student opportunity to progress and different career pathways, the degree is also taught by researchers in leading fields. So infectious disease major, we have a strong group of epidemiologists, public health people working in those areas. We have a lot of research strength in neuroscience and cutting edge techniques. So students are learning from the experts who are really doing at the forefront of research and the issues today. And I think that's really special about this degree. And so we're covering COVID now. We've integrated some COVID material in our 3rd year unit that we're offering coming next semester.
Yeah, which is great as well, since you did mention your research is like focused more on infectious disease and biosecurity, which as a student I'd also like to explore that aspect, and I'll easily be able to contact you and talk to you about these timely things that's happening right now. Which is great.
Exactly. And you know, as a lecturer, when I'm giving a lecture, I don't just stand up and go, you know, here's all this information you need to know. It's always presented in the context of research. So you hear about our research, and you know, within the degree there's opportunities to do internships. We have participation in community units where students go out and do internships. You know, I feel that it's really early days for us in this degree. This is our 1st year as far as I'm concerned. I can see it evolving into something really big, and I'd also like to have special student interest groups where, you know, you sit down with an academic or researcher and we bring everyone from that major together to have a conversation or read a paper and really offer some personalised study for those that are interested in it.
That was really good. Okay, so what is the difference between medical science and human biology?
Okay, so the Bachelor of Medical Science is a standalone degree. Human biology is a specialisation within our Bachelor of Science program. There is some sort of commonality relative to human biology, physiology and anatomy, but they tend to have different pathways. And I would say that the BMed Sci is a little more flexible in its opportunity to choose from different areas. whereas the human biology, and it does lead to different career pathways,
Yes.
whereas the human biology specialisation tends to probably lead to quite different pathways in allied health and other areas.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Since I did mention as well earlier, since the students have the free will to choose like either just taking the major or a double major or a minor, they could choose like a broad selection of career pathways, which is really amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the whole idea with the design of the program is that each of those majors are kind of aligned to different career pathways.
Yeah.
So neuroscience and anatomy and physiology, you know, align. I'm not saying that there's other ways to get into a medical doctorate, but they're for students who are really interested in human biology and want to go on to that. Whereas analytical biosciences and medicinal chemistry are probably a little more aligned to students who would like to get into pathology or hospital science or research or pharmaceutical companies. So depending on the interest, and you know, like we've said, you can do the double major, you can do anatomy and physiology, and you can do medicinal chemistry, and have those going in parallel.
Amazing. So what kind of jobs can studying medical sciences or human biology prepare you for?
Yeah, okay. So I guess within the program, once a student finishes, which is an exciting time for the student and us to see people going off and graduating, I would say that there's probably three main pathways coming out of this degree. One would be going on to postgraduate study, so allied health, so physiotherapy as an example, or to a medical doctorate. There's the research pathway, so students could pick up a Master of Research or honours or go on to do a PhD. And equally, without doing postgraduate study in research, students could also work in a lab as a research technician or laboratory scientist and support research in that way in a medical institute. And then I think that's the three pathways, actually. I got them all. Yeah.
Great. All right. Thank you so much for your time today, Michelle.
No, that's great. And thank you for coming along and helping us out with Open Day. After this, we're going to have a live chat and we'll be in the studio. So please post your questions online and we'll talk to you further.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Medicine and Health Studio here at Macquarie University Open Day Streamed. Thank you for that presentation, Associate Professor Power, and I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'm joined in the studio by Associate Professor Power, here to answer all of your questions from that video. She is a lecturer in the Department of Biological Sciences here at Macquarie University, and she's a researcher in infectious disease and also in, zoonoses? Zoonoses, so that is a disease that's transferred from animals to humans, and she has a keen research area in that. Welcome to the studio.
Cool, thanks Gareth, and hello to everyone out there who's joined us for Open Day today.
We'll get started with some of the Q&A questions that have been submitted. So the first one that we've had come through, what are some of the placement opportunities that are available to students in the Bachelor of Medical Sciences?
Yeah, so within the Bachelor of Medical Sciences, all students actually do what we call a PACE unit, and that involves an internship. And students can go, they choose where they go for their internship, so they can stay at Macquarie and go into a research group and get hands-on research experience. They can go to a medical institute outside, and there's even opportunities outside of our current life to go overseas and do an international placement.
Fantastic. What are some of the research projects that are going on here at the university that students could potentially do in that unit? Yeah,
so there's a whole range of research projects across the different spectrum of areas, and interestingly our majors, our 6 majors in the Bachelor of Medical Science align to our research strengths. So in my department in biology, we're interested in disease ecology and in transfer of diseases from wildlife to humans, and that's my personal research area. We have people working on neuroscience, both in biology and also in the neuroscience department, the Department of Cognitive Sciences, I think it is.
That one.
Another, so we've actually got strengths in the university in research areas that spread across different faculties as well. Yeah.
And what kind of student would be most suited to studying the Bachelor of Medical Science? What are they interested in? I think there's a broad range of things that they could be studying.
Yeah. So I think the degree itself can lead to a broad range of pathways. So it can lead to working in a pathology company, as a hospital scientist, going on to postgraduate study of physiotherapy, public health and epidemiology, and then also into medicine. Some students have gone that pathway. So biotech companies, drug discovery, extremely diverse ways. So I think someone who's inquisitive, enthusiastic, likes experiential learning, and likes to hear about modern issues.
Fantastic. And you mentioned about the flexibility of the degree there. There's an opportunity to do 2 majors in this degree. Do you want to elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah. So the core structure of the degree, we can think of it as being just divided into 3 blocks. The core block where every student who takes this degree does 8 subjects. The major, and so that's one of our 6 majors, and so students choose one of those. And then our last block is what we term the flexible zone. And students have the opportunity to choose subjects from across the entire university and dabble into, can go and dabble into
something
Indigenous
different.
health, medicine, something different, a language.
That would be a good one.
Or they could pick up a second major, and there's space to do both. We also have options for minors as well.
Okay, fantastic. And as a student who's coming into the Bachelor of Medical Sciences, what could they expect to be doing in class? Is there a mix of practicals and lectures? What's a typical day of a student look like?
So it depends on, in the first year everyone's doing pretty much the same subject, so there is a mix. And if you can actually start this degree in semester 1 or session 1 or session 2. And the first subject kind of that everyone hits in session 1 is what we call Foundations in Medical Science. So that brings everyone from this one degree together. And they will hear from dynamic researchers and people working in fields where they could end up working one day in like a lecture discussion stream, and then they learn a whole suite of skills that are important for the subjects that they will study in subsequent years of the degree. So a typical day, hopefully come in on campus because you get to engage with the people that are here. But lectures are flexible, they're provided online and also face-to-face. And then most subjects will have a prac class, so students will go into our teaching laboratories. We work in small groups of pairs. Everyone has digital technology, microscopes, the works.
Cool.
And it's all around kind of doing experiments and asking questions.
So building those fundamental research skills.
Skills and laboratory skills, And so that's from first year. Then as you go through in your specialist area, obviously in different areas. I mean, one of our majors is around anatomy and physiology, so you might be able to comment on some of the content that someone in that subject might do, or that stream.
From my background in the Bachelor of Clinical Science, we also do some of the units that Bachelor of Medical Science students would cover in the anatomy labs, and we have some fantastic anatomy labs here at Macquarie. They're located in the Macquarie University Hospital, so being able to go in, and particularly in the human anatomy major, you'd be able to go in and work with dissections, work with real human specimens, which is a fantastic honour to be able to do in your first year, and I've just felt that was a fantastic opportunity that we have at Macquarie. And now we've had a few people asking about some of the researchers who are teaching. So I think you've mentioned that we have some really cutting edge researchers who are actually teaching in this degree. Do you want to expand a bit on that?
So basically all our lecturers have research groups and are undertaking research in different areas. So our, I'll mention some names. In first year, Fleur Ponton, she teaches the Foundations unit. Her interest is in looking at nutrition and the microbiome, so the bacteria that live in our guts and how that impacts health. Michael Gillings, also in biology, and myself are looking at antimicrobial resistance, different facets. Michael Gillings looks at the genetics and evolution of antibiotic resistance determinants, or the genes that enable bacteria to resist antibiotics. And then my area is more around microbial pollution and transmission and change in the environment through wildlife back to humans. What about in, so I'm in faculty in science engineering, what about in the researchers you encounter?
So I've had a lot of opportunity to work with some researchers in the neuroscience department here at Macquarie. Also with the clinicians from the hospital, we've been able to interact with some of the cardiologists, and respiratory physiologists who've been doing research. So it's a fantastic university because we have that connection between students and the researchers. So students are always working in the area that's most relevant to them once they graduate.
Where they go, yeah. And what I actually think is fantastic is that the way the degree is set and that we teach it across faculties. So we've got, like you've said, clinicians, we've got scientists, we've got people in molecular sciences doing medicinal research, looking at indigenous natural products and indigenous ways of providing medicine. So again, that connection, I think, provides a really unique experience because we've got our scientists, evolutionary biologists, clinicians, all working together and to deliver this degree.
It's all coming together here under one roof.
Yeah.
Now we've had a student ask about choosing a major. So we've been talking about the different majors offered in the degree through your video and now in this session. When does a student choose that?
Yeah, so you choose a major actually when you start in the first year, and what we encourage students to do is to look at the other majors and to pick the key subject that they need to do that year if there's a second major that they like. So if they do want to change, they can. And then it's really flexible, but literally from the first year.
Okay, fantastic. And students who are graduating from this bachelor, where are they usually going in terms of job opportunities or further research study?
Yep. So very different places. Some go on to public health.
Okay.
We have students who have actually gone on to medicine, postgraduate medicine interstate and also in New South Wales. And a lot of students tend to, because from the science side, and a lot go into research. So we have our Master of Research pathway, and then that can lead to a PhD. So there's a lot of students that go down that pathway as well.
So there's a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
And you can tailor it to how you want to do it.
Yeah, indeed.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I've just got a few questions that have come through about double degrees, so that's something that you can do at Macquarie, and I'll just provide a bit of light on that. So the Bachelor of Medical Science is available to be doubled with a lot of degrees here at Macquarie. You can double it with another undergraduate degree, or you could do a vertical double with some of our master's programs. So that's a fantastic way that you can combine your passion for medicine with, say, law, for example, or cognitive and brain sciences. So you can get a really broad experience in your degree, so you're able to explore all of your passions while you're at Macquarie. So that's what we want to get across. It's very flexible and you can combine it.
And the vertical double is great actually, because the vertical double is you do your basically 3 years undergrad, and then in the third year you're combining a master's level degree with part of the undergrad, and so you come out with a 4-year degree, I think it's 4 years, with a bachelor and a master's, and we have that in biotechnology, which can lead to drug discovery, biotech companies and so forth.
So it's a fantastic way to get ahead.
Yeah, exactly, And you can also actually then transition into our Masters of Research and fast track there, because that sets up for different entry pathways as well.
Great. If you need more information on that, you can check out our Macquarie University website. We've had a question come in from Emma. She's asked, is the Bachelor of Medical Science more focused on research rather than anatomy, or are there some subjects that are more science or medicine focused?
Yeah. Okay. So in the first year, actually there's six subjects in the first year and 2 free spots for electives. They're very broad. They provide a broad foundation that includes, there's anatomy subjects there, subjects focusing around chemistry, biology, human biology. Then as you choose your major, so if you choose the anatomy and physiology major, you would be focusing there more on neuroscience, anatomy and physiology units. But if you choose an analytical bioscience or the infectious disease major, you would be doing genetics, molecular-based subjects, ecology. Yeah, so it really depends on the major, but in the flex zone, you can complement anatomy and physiology with some of those other units. Even without a second major, you can choose there.
Okay, thank you. We've had Danica ask about, she's in year 10, and she's asking how could she prepare to study medical science at Macquarie in year 10? Is there some subjects that she should be looking at, or what do you recommend?
Yeah, I'm not off the top of my head. I think, maybe have a look at the area that you'd like to go into relative to your major. So maybe some biology, chemistry, maths is always very useful. And some of the first year subjects, so for example, if you're going into, if you're interested in the anatomy and physiology major, you need to do physics as part of that major, and that has a maths requisite. So.
if you did need more information on our specific entry requirements, you can check out the Bachelor of Medical Science course page at Macquarie, or you can check out our live chat function, which is down in the bottom left-hand corner, and you can chat with some current students who can help you out with that. Now, we've talked a bit about the degree and how it's flexible. This year is actually the first year of the course being redesigned. Do you want to share a bit about how we've consulted with students to build a fantastic new degree?
Yeah, exactly. So we've been running the medical science, I think the Bachelor here, maybe since, I mean, I've been here since 2009. I've studied here before that as well. So it's been around for a good long time.
Okay.
But we felt that it was a very tight degree. It really wasn't giving students that flexibility. It was very prescribed.
Okay.
And so we really wanted to know what students wanted, and we wanted a product that was providing students with their needs, but also leading to career pathways that were important for today's world and the issues that people graduating with this degree will face and need to solve, basically, because they're the future of medicine and health. Yes.
Yeah. So it's great that we've been able to integrate what students are looking for to create a degree that's flexible and it's going to help them out in the future.
Yeah, and interestingly, I've had some feedback from past students who helped consult and contribute and say what they would have liked had they had an opportunity to do a good degree differently. So they did the old version, and they just say this is fantastic. They wish they were studying this Bachelor of Medical Sciences now instead of when they did it 4 years ago. Okay. So that's nice feedback.
Fantastic. We've had a question come in from Carleen. She's asking, could you provide a bit more information on the neurosciences and infectious disease majors?
Yep, I can on the infectious disease major. So basically, the the infectious disease major is around ecology and considering the movement of disease agents or pathogens from humans or between humans, wildlife and the environment. And that term is called One Health. And so basically, we can't think of disease ecology in isolation now. We really need to think about how everything's connected and how those pathogens move. And, what we're experiencing today with the coronavirus pandemic is very classic around what the infectious disease major covers. Okay. So the neuroscience major, it's... Can you comment?
I didn't do the neuroscience major here at Macquarie, but we will have students who are able to answer some more information on that in our live chat. But you can also check out our website. But yeah, you'll explore how the brain is working, some of the neuroanatomy, so looking at the specimens of the brain and the spinal cord and learning more about the physiology of how that works. So there's an incredible amount of research going in there. And if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. We've had Emily ask a question about your own experience with infectious disease moving from animals to humans. Do you want to give a bit of information to the students about your own career as a researcher and as a scientist so they have an idea about what it entails?
Yes, I can do that, and thanks for the question there, Emily. So I had a bit of an odd pathway. I didn't go the traditional way. I actually left school and was working as a laboratory assistant at CSIRO and other universities, and that's when I decided that I would actually do my Bachelor of Science. I wanted to be a vet when I was at school. I just didn't pursue that pathway. Interestingly, that's where I am now, because everything animals, I'm doing is all kind of veterinary disease ecology related. And so I did my Bachelor of Science here at Macquarie, and again in a flexible zone externally and while working full time. And then I went on and then came back a few years later and did a PhD, and then it went away again, and then I came back and ended up as a lecturer. And then slowly over time, my research area started out as looking at host parasite interactions, and particularly looking at parasites in the human gut and how they can be spread through the environment. And then it's now led to thinking about co-infection and how organisms interact with the bacteria that we have in our gut, and how things move, as I said, from through the environment between different animals. And some examples, or one classic example, and something that we've been looking at recently, is antimicrobial resistance. Yes. And so that's an issue that humans have really driven through, and albeit a need to use antibiotics, but it's had evolutionary consequences for bacteria. Yeah. And now we've polluted the environment with these bacteria, and we're finding them in wildlife, potentially, moving through the system and coming back. And
Well, thank you for that. That's just one of the many stories that we have here at Macquarie of people going through medical science and then exploring all the different options that it has to offer. Thank you very much for your time here today. It's been great answering questions from the students with you, and thank you for sharing your experiences. We'll move to the next stage, which will be at 1 p.m, which will be a presentation from the Bachelor of Clinical Science. While you're here, I want to remind you of all the amazing things that are happening here at Open Day Streamed. We've got some competitions that are running down below. If you want to enter those, there's a few videos that you have to watch and spot the student ambassador. By entering that, you have the opportunity to win a cash prize, or you can win some sweet Macquarie University merch. We also have some frequently asked questions down the bottom. If you'd like to learn more about the Bachelor of Medical Science or some of our medicine and health degrees, you can see those down below. There's some course brochures and frequently asked questions. We also have some videos from the university. You can check up here for all of the downloadable videos, and you can also check out all of the other stages. If you're interested in psychology or anything else in the field, you can check out each of the individual stages or head back to Studio Central to hear more from our current students. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks,
it's been a pleasure.
Gareth. Yep,
and thank you everyone for tuning in to the Medicine and Health Studio.